Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. That's me, Joey, only up here in Wells, BC, 3,935 feet above sea level. And by the way, told you so! Told you so. I've been telling you for years. Been telling you since before Trump came to power. I've been telling you since I was a kid the Americans will someday try to destabilize our country and try to take it over. The fuckers! So if you're down there in America listening and you voted for Trump, I have a special fuck you for you today. For causing chaos to our country, for everything was fine. Everything was normal. You know, honestly, up here, it's like, you know, people were arguing about politics and mad about this and that, but honestly, everything was kind of fine. Like, life went on here in Canada like it has for a long time, and life was good. And suddenly, out of the blue, chaos! Anyways, today's not a bad news. This isn't a bad news episode, so I'm going to stop talking about politics right there and get on to talking about the weather. I might make a bad news show a little later today to talk about politics. But for now, let's just talk about clouds. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Anything could happen.
Get on! Wow.
I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this.
I swear to you, I'm like the only person who's honest left. I don't want to just talk about clouds, but today we're going to talk about clouds, at least for this episode. Just talk about clouds, talk about the cold, let's just turn off the fucking world and pretend it's not happening. Yeah, okay. So, today, looking at the Diggy's Diner Bad News Battle, or no, it's not the Bad News Battle Board, that's Environment Canada. The Diggy's Diner Weather Station, there. I'm so mad at the world that I'm actually getting my own show incorrect. I'm going to have my sip of my coffee here. Thanks, Diggy's Diner, for this weather station, because today we have something to actually talk about. It's only minus 20.3 right now. It's 10:21 in the morning at the time of recording. That's because it was just too cold downstairs to want to make a show before now. And we hit 25.2 below, which is the coldest I have seen it so far this year. My pipes did not freeze, though. I had the heater underneath there. The doors were open. Things went pretty good so far. So, and if we just go look at weekly mode, the weather station here, we can see, yep, that was the coldest we've seen so far this entire week. You can see here we were like down to 20 below almost there, 19.3 or something like that on coming into Saturday morning. And we have just blown right past that. So the coldest we've had all year so far here in Wells, BC. And I'm sure if I'd been a little bit sooner on this, we might have caught a minus 40 up there at Boya Lake. We might have caught a minus 40 up there or something like that. But no, I was just a little late getting to it. Just brutally cold up there. 42 in Watson Lake. You are leading the pack in the misery department, but as you can see now, that's making its way into the prairies as well. Solid 20s all through Alberta, even up to 30 when you get to the Grand Prairie area. Sass sitting almost completely mid-20s, except for Regina. Moose Jaw Station reporting minus 12. That's kind of weird, but localized thing can happen. Yeah, and over there, 21 in Portage la Prairie, so pretty cold in Western Canada today. Pretty cold. We even got some minus 41s up there in Beaver River. We got the beavers are freezing. Poor beavers are cold. I hate when the beavers are too cold. The preachers are cold there. The preachers are cold, and Fort Yukon's cold, and it's cold everywhere. Even at 7 Mile, it's cold. But Tuktoyaktuk minus 30. Anyways, you get the general picture on temperatures. Okay, well, let's go down to the lower mainland where they got all kinds of snow expected for them today. Could see some considerable snow for them, as you know, as we were talking about. Looking at some even minus 6 there at Stave River. Congratulations, that's pretty chilly for you. Minus 9 at Hell's Gate. Unbelievable. What's this? Gold River looks like a weather station is inoperable right now, because I refuse to believe it's minus 39 in Gold River. It's not possible. It's not happening. Port Alberni minus 1, and just hovering a little bit above freezing now as we're getting into the daylight in the Victoria area. Ooh, some windy spots off the coast. 84 kilometers an hour there, 72 on some ships out there out in the ocean. So you can imagine up here it would probably be pretty cold, pretty chilly. Add some wind chill to that, because we know that the low is dragging that wind down there. And look at how this high pressure here is. It's really making its own block. But so you can see that wind is being dragging straight down there through there, and it's wrapping around this low, and it's going to aim itself towards Vancouver there. That's where there's some snow is going on. We've got people reporting snow has fallen there today, and congratulations for you. That must be really, really awesome. We will be watching here how the snow plays out for just a few seconds on the, there you go, Vancouver, looking at maybe a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow today, some repeat rounds. Could see some fairly significant snow over the next 2 days, in all honesty, for you. Some models have been really all over the place. Like I've seen 10 centimeters, I've seen 20 centimeters, I've seen some that say that maybe not Vancouver itself, but in the region could see 30 or 40 centimeters. So they're really not sure. No one's exactly sure how this is going to play out, because just, the way this low is sitting there, the way it's pulling its moisture off the ocean, the way the high is descending down, it's just there's some things at play there that are really hard to kind of really, really work out. But what we do know for sure is that high pressure is going to win, as we've been telling you for a number of days now. And really, really, a lot of this hasn't changed much from forecast video to forecast video, from discussion to discussion we've had here. Things haven't changed that much, really. No, they haven't. What I'm really concerned about for me is the cold, but I managed to get through another night with the pipes staying relatively unfrozen, and it looks like you could probably see that low sticking around there for a while. So it could be that over the course of a number of days, you really take on a fair bit of snow in areas that just don't see it very much. Could we see minus 30 in Williams Lake on Monday night to Tuesday morning? It looks possible. Even Prince George now, Fort St. John, minus 31. These are really, really brutal temperatures. I know people in Canada have had worse. Look at this snow story in the Southern Prairies. So that's a bit of a change from what we've been seeing a little bit. It's coming a little further north than maybe what we saw in forecast videos before. So that's nice for them. Look at how that high pressure is really, the snow is just coming into it. The precipitation's coming into that high pressure, coming into that cold air. And it's dense, it's cold, and it can't do anything. It just seems to be falling right there. So whether or not this can break through, or it may just be that the high pressure is the wall at which this moisture hits and says, oops, I'm done. Oh, 20, no, not 30s again. Tuesday night, 30 in the Caribou. It's not, I hate it. Really, really, really cold. I would love to see this low pressure be up here and on us, but no, look at that. Idaho seeing some major snowstorm this week. Great Falls, Montana seeing some major snow. Wyoming then getting its turn when the low moves into it. A little bit of freezing rain across central parts of the United States. Well, good. I hope everything's terrible for you in Iowa and Omaha and Illinois. Anyways, we're very mad. Okay, back to how cold is it in BC. Stupidly cold. Doesn't want to get better. Doesn't want to get that much better at all. Wednesday night, minus 20. Oh, my God. 20, 30, 28 in the Caribou, 20 in Kamloops, 26 in Blue River, 26 McBride, even Burns Lake seeing 23. What if we skip 24 hours ahead? Maybe Thursday night, a touch warmer. Come on, Long Ranger. Come on, that's looking better by the weekend. Maybe that's what we've been hoping for. I don't mind minus 12. That's cool. That's good winter weather. Let's hope that manifests. But we really looking at this blob of Arctic air north of us might just come straight back down on us again for a little while next week after that. So it's going to be cold for February. It's going to be cold for a while. I don't see any getting out of it anytime soon. We're going to have, off and on some very, very, very cold nights. And look at this. We're talking to the middle of the month now, the 15th. We're more than halfway past the month, and we're still seeing those cold signals showing up. Western Canada is where all the action is today. Hooray for us. We love the action. So we're going to start, like we often do. There was some extreme cold warnings, I think, that were put out that I don't see on there right now. Minus 40 extreme cold wind chill value for Fort St. John and Dawson Creek. Monday and Tuesday morning. Congratulations. Even up there within Fort Muncho and areas to outside Fort Nelson, Dease Lake. Looking at wind chills during minus 45 during the day there. Very cold temperatures combined with light northwesterly winds will continue to bring very cold wind chill values to use. Yeah, not cool, not cool. Arctic outflow warning all along the coast. An Arctic air mass combined with strong outflow winds will give low wind chill values in the minus 20 to 25 range Tuesday and possibly also on Wednesday. Temperatures will be the coldest in the overnight and early morning hours, but the strong gusty winds will maintain the low wind chills through the day as well. Winds will be strong through the mainland inlets where northeasterly winds may gust 90 to 110 kilometers an hour. Frostbite can occur within minutes, and it's terrible for you. Extreme cold for Dease Lake and Muncho Lake. That's still the last warning we already looked at. Special weather statement for North Vancouver Island. High to Gouai. Low pressure spins over Western Canada today. Conditions are favorable for scattered flurries and snow squalls to develop down in the coastal areas. Special weather statement for you maintains itself. We've already been reading this a number of times. Heavy flurries and cold temperatures are expected this weekend. Arctic air is invading the region. Be advised for reduction in visibility because convective flurries, there's going to not quite thunderstorm, but the behavior, the clouds will stack up, becomes squalls, quite possibly. Snow will be developing in many areas this weekend. Very cold and dry air expected through the weekend with temperatures 5 to 8 degrees Celsius below seasonal. Boo-hoo-hoo for you. Blowing snow is possible. Watch for accumulating snow over Vancouver Island from Qualicum Beach to Saanich Peninsula early next week. We've already seen some snow today show up. I saw pictures of the Tofino coast, seeing some images of that. There's a snowfall warning along the west coast, 5 to 10 centimeters for Port Renfrew tonight. That's crazy. You don't often see Port Renfrew finding itself into a snowfall warning. 5 to 10 centimeters, maybe even for Port Alberni as well. So Vancouver Island, not used to seeing snowfall warnings on Vancouver Island. Unusual snowfall warning for Vancouver. Now through Monday morning, a wintry mix of precip is expected to impact the south coast of BC through Monday morning. Heavy snowfall is expected this morning. Accumulations will vary from 10 to 20 centimeters. People are telling me they've already seen some snow. Meteorologist Mark Ingalls saw this. Other areas may see locally intense flurries, giving reduced visibility and heavy snow accumulation. Heading up there towards, it's Whistler and all these areas. Langdale, Gibson, Seashell, Half Moon Bay. Snowfall warning, 5 to 10 centimeters. They get a snowfall warning for 5 to 10 centimeters. That's whack. Oh, man, that is weak. Okay. Going to be extreme cold warnings, minus 50 up through the north. These are going to be a lot of extreme cold warnings, all these. So prepare yourself here to go through a couple minutes of just looking at extreme cold warnings, except for very far north there in the Northwest Territory side near Tuktoyaktuk, looking at blizzard conditions for you. But if we go over to the Alberta side here, what are we looking at? Extreme cold, minus 40 for almost all of northern Alberta. Not fun. Down in the South Alberta there, what are we looking at? Is that Brooks, Alberta? Maybe for you. No, you're just outside the warning zone, Brandon Hauk. Minus 40 wind chill values, putting everyone at risk over the next bunch of days. Into Saskatchewan, minus 40. Wind chill values of even 45 coming during the next bunch of days. On Manitoba side, 10 to 15 centimeters expected for you there. So a little bit of a different story through central and northern Manitoba. Sunday night into Monday, seeing some snowfall for you along Lake Winnipeg as well. But if you go far enough to the north towards the Nunavut border, 45 below, that's happening. Wind chill values in northern Saskatchewan, minus 45. Very, very stupidly cold, very miserably cold, dangerously cold. People die in Canada from cold often. 10 to 15 centimeters, meanwhile, for parts of the north shore of Lake Superior. This isn't going to clear itself up, I don't think, anytime soon. Some of the coldest air in all of Western Canada really looking to center itself on BC at times this week. Wednesday morning, extremely cold. And you can see we're not, we catch moments of it getting a little better, but all in all, we're looking at a prolonged period here. There's really all the hope we've had that maybe some Pacific weather could beat this back seems to be going out the window. I mean, it's early in the month. It's only the 2nd right now. It is possible that we could see forecast changes between now and the middle of the month. But this, to me, is a pretty established, pretty consistent pattern across the modeling. Just back to the beginning of it again and seeing how that is spilling down, bringing cold temperatures across the board in North America, unless you're in Texas and the Gulf states and whatnot, where you're looking at 30-degree weather. To me, this is really bad, this setup, in a lot of ways. We really needed February to be a big precip month in the province. I mean, yeah, a little bit of that's going on right now, but this setup in general is a non-snow setup. It's a continental setup instead of a coastal setup, right? You know what I mean by that is, rather than having our predominant weather coming from the Pacific Ocean, it's coming from the north, it's coming from the Arctic, it's coming from polar regions, right? So we're kind of in this pattern right now where we are going to be stuck with that for a little while. So what that means is, because cold air cannot transport moisture, especially when you get to that extreme cold. That's why, every little bit of, you see this when it's minus 30 out. You see how the exhaust from your car instantly is extra cloudy. There's more fog because of it. So because the air can't hold any moisture at all. So it's like, as soon as that moisture hits into the air, then it immediately just condenses into a cloud state, right? And you know this from watching aircraft flying up very high when they hit into those extremely dry and cold air pockets. When you're looking at minus 40 temperatures up there, you see that the condensation coming out of the jet engine immediately turns to a cloud. It's no different from your car. It's no different from anything else. So you notice that when it's extremely cold, we get a lot of that kind of foggy weather, right? And so what I'm trying to say is the cold is where moisture goes to die, right? And that's why you get the hoarfrost. A little bit of moisture gets in the air, that humidity, and it can't do anything. It just comes to the ground, falls, and crystallizes. The air cannot hold it. Whereas in the summertime, it's very hot, it's very humid. And you're like, oh wow, it's very muggy out. And so there's a reason, because the hot air can hold more moisture. It's just every degree you go up, the level of moisture it can hold will increase. So what happens is, when BC is extremely cold, that means we are not experiencing Pacific flow. It means we're not getting any moisture inland. February is generally considered to be the snowiest month in BC, and if we're not piling it on right now, it's not good news, because a lot of areas are still underreporting on their snowpacks. I think this week we'll look at snowpacks some more and try to get some details and handles on where things are going, because fire season's coming quick now. February's, but the month where I start kind of making my long-term prognoses for where things are going to go. And I've been pretty open now on what I think, the questions are. I just don't necessarily have complete answers yet, but one of my big questions was, are we going to get the precipitation this winter that we need? If the La Nina is not going to stick around, are we going to get a major dumping of snowfall in February, March to help us kind of carry us through into the fire season? And when I'm seeing this kind of a setup for prolonged periods of time, I'm saying to myself, that's not looking good for piling the snow on in the BC mountains. So A, it's bad for that. B, what else is this cold really bad for? If we can get minus 25 and 30 temperatures down there into the Okanagan, where we've already had fruit trees that have been budding, people have told me, because of how warm it was in January. I'm concerned about damage to our fruit trees, further damage than we had last year. And as you know, we're now entering into a period of global conflict that are brought on by these motherfuckers. And these motherfuckers are where all the oranges and fruit and whatnot comes from, and peaches and things. So, and cherries. We really need BC, who's a major fruit producer. We got 2 areas in Canada that are major fruit producers. You could add maybe Nova Scotia apples or whatnot, but I know Southern Ontario, major fruit producer along the Niagara Escarpment, especially in Peninsula, very, very heavy fruit production there in BC, Southern BC. It's the 2 areas of Canada where, although there's lots of agriculture through the prairies, the weather there is not conducive to fruit trees per se for them to be very successful. As you notice on the prairie, there's not much for trees in general. If you haven't noticed. So if price of fruit's going up and things like that, we really would find that this Arctic air coming down is a very bad thing for us, for people who love fruit in Canada, we need to become more self-sufficient now than we've ever been before as a country. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe, I've always said that these guys here are a danger to us and that we need to be more independent, more free of them, not bow to them, not fight their wars for them, not be America 2.0, that although we have a different flag and have a different government, basically we just do whatever they want. That can't be the way, and I've always believed that. And now we're in a situation where global instability is purposely being constructed. I just saw Hank Vliester from our podcast put up a little video in Saskatchewan today, and it really illustrates what I was just saying. You can see here how it's just so extra foggy because of the temperatures, right? So this is a good example. You have these factories here that are emitting moisture, and the moisture is not able to transport itself any length into the atmosphere, into the air, or really it just kind of gets there. It gets a couple hundred feet from its source. Immediately the cold air hits it, it turns into cloud. End of story. Let's have a quick look. It's been a little while, but now that it's February, I'm officially at a Facebook channel again. Hooray. So let's go have a look at the group I can run again on Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers on Facebook. You can join this group if you wish. It's a completely non-political group. I do not accept politics of any kind in the group. So although my channel and my personal life, I'll say whatever I want. I wanted the group to just be really focused on BC weather conditions solely, so that people just had a safe, normal place to go and get weather information. So that's us right here. It looks like we've even grown a little bit, up to almost 40,000. We've been sitting at 39,700. So it's Groundhog Day today. Too cold. We all know that groundhogs are stupid and useless. They don't have any education in meteorology whatsoever. Groundhogs cannot read or write at a university level. Groundhogs are incapable of complex thought, of recording observations in a meaningful way and making predictions with any kind of accuracy. So just so you know, that's why you come subscribe to Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel, because groundhogs are stupid, but Joey Only here is quite educated and quite aware of what's going on in the world. What do we got for temperatures there? Looks like Joy Gammy's got 27, 28 there, 70-mile house this morning. Good morning from Puncie Mountain. Look at that. Martina is actually warm for a change. This is our friend Martina, who she's the one who hit minus 50 last year on her personal thermometer here, and I believe it. I think down the road at the airport in Puncie, they got 49.6 or something like that, and she was getting 51 on hers. So local microclimate thing, like so often happens. She is usually the coldest one out there in Puncie, out in the Chilcotin. 100 miles, seeing 108, seeing 24 below last night. What other we got? Moberly Lake looking pretty cold. 36 for them up there in the Peace, so very, very cold. Not so bad. 27.3 for Smithers at 7:30 a.m. Very, very chilly. It's nice to see everyone's personal stations. Michelle Hamilton Fraser there has a Gaith storm glass, and what it does is the pressure will change how the liquid sits in it, as the air pressure out there changes, right? So it's begun to overflow a drop at a time now. She said this was on January 31st. Precipitation was coming, pressure was dropping. She said it's cool to see how many other people have these. I don't have one. If you ever see one, feel free to send it to me. I love gifts. Especially any kind of weather instrument that I can have. As for where to get them, I don't know anywhere local. You have to search for them. She came from Canadian. She got hers at Canadian Tire 20 years ago. I've never personally seen a Gaith storm glass. My buddy Austin says it's a water barometer. You can purchase them almost anywhere. The air pressure in the chamber is always the same, so external changes in barometric pressure causes water to rise or lower in the tube. Generally, low water indicates high pressure. Rising water indicates changes or unsettled water approaching. In rare cases, water can rise and spill out of the top of the tube. So some pretty cold temperatures on there, but we've had much worse since we've been reporting here over the years. We've hit 40 below since we've been reporting here. Martina hit 50 below. I've had like 39 something here in Wells. Since we've been reporting on interior weather and wilderness watchers, most definitely had a 41 or 42 officially. And I know that people in Wells 2 winters ago were seeing temperatures on their personal stations in the 44, 45 range. So just to give you a little bit of a what's the difference between these two weather services, I'll tell you, avoid them all and join Joey on the Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. So anyways, that's a little look at interior weather and wilderness watchers right now and what's going on the group. Thanks for all your contributions, everybody, your beautiful photos. We really appreciate all the members, and it's great to see, so often how many people in the group contribute and get their weather information from here, and how become friends over the years and things like that. It's really wonderful. Scott Nelson.
And it's freaking cold out here, and it's coming in fast. So the next 10 days, it's like up to minus 31 in town in Williams Lake. So be cautious, be very warm. There is a number of warm centers open up in town as well. So, but it's windy, and that wind is just absolutely compounding that freeziness. But look at that flag, our Canadian flag. But be very cautious, folks. It's a dangerous cold, and it's coming in fast into our region. Thank you.
And Scott Nelson has a couple suggestions for Williams Lake and places like that. So you got Salvation Army has downstairs drop-in, has the food bank on Borland Street. Canadian Mental Health there. Come in, warm up, have coffee, tea, hot chocolate, interior health, coffee, tea, and snacks there Monday to Friday. All Nations Healing House in Williams Lake. 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. during the weekdays there. Coffee, tea available. Northern Shuswap Tribal Council, again, come in, warm up, have a cup of coffee there. And this is great to see this kind of thing going on. I think in your own community, if you're not living in Williams Lake, you can look at, things in your own community. Try to find out like who is suffering right now, and it's like making those efforts to get extra blankets, to get winter clothes, to get things together for people, to help people who are less fortunate than yourselves. That's what being Canadian should really be about. Is we have to all brace ourselves to face the horrific weather at times that is lethal, and we should be together in this, right? So things like Hamilton, the Caribou Friendship Center and Hamilton Inn there. They got 22 overnight beds available through the winter. They got a bunch of rules there. 3 meals, hot meal for dinner, breakfast, and following lunch. So really good. Giving priority to connect with CMHA homeless outreach workers in the morning. So that would maybe give you a chance to start turning your life around. Caribou Friendship Society shelter, 24-hour, no cost accommodation to the transient, 3 meals a day, 30 beds there. So there's some examples in your small town of people who are trying to do their best to make sure that everyone's taken care of, looked after best. Of course, we got these safety tips for winter, which I'm sure all of you know by now, because we got the pets, the freezing pipes, the layered clothing you need to have, safety for when you're walking around the ice. Always wear a hat, keep the heat. I've always got my toque on. And these might give you some ideas for other things that if you got extra coats and extra hats and extra gear, that maybe you can donate them to people who are less fortunate in your community, because it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for the next little while. So thanks very much, Scott Nelson, for that great post to Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers.
To all my fans down in the United States and America, you have to be really, really, really careful when you're buying stuff from Canada and Mexico, because the tariffs are in effect. You have to be extremely careful. To all of my fans in the United States and America, be extremely careful when you're buying something from Canada and Mexico. Be mighty careful. From Frank Del.
And now that I'm out of Facebook jail and regularly, actively back onto my own group, Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, try to share something from the group more often there. I love when you people put up videos. So anybody from watching from Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, feel free to put up videos. I really, really love when you do that. Anyways, so not much for new news today coming from the weather side. It's really kind of a repeat of yesterday's forecast in a lot of ways, just doubling down, just looking at where things are at today. And I hope you enjoy. Hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Going to do my best to make another bad news show today because I got no kids. I got extra time to talk. and there's a lot to talk about. I'm really thankful, although I know that my rantings are less popular on the whole than my video forecasting is. I also see that people are putting in a lot of donations every time I make one of these videos. So the few of you who are watching are very, very loyal, and I'm really appreciative for that, because it's giving me hope that pro-democracy people like myself, and again, I'm not here to tell you what party you should vote for, what your politics should be. I'm here to talk about ideas and here to say what we should and shouldn't accept as working people, and say that we shouldn't accept as Canadians attacks on our sovereignty and all this and that. But I mean, who you are is up to you. And I can't change that. I don't want to change that. But I appreciate the free sharing of ideas. People who I don't agree with, if they can have civil conversations, share ideas, always makes me better for it. Maybe it will help me amend my ideas. Maybe it'll change my ideas. Maybe it'll help double down so that I know, no, actually, I really believe what I'm saying because of what they said. So it's like the sharing of ideas is a good thing, and people are just terrified of it these days. It's like, you're different. And then they could call you a name. You socialist. You flake. You liberal. It's like, something different. So don't be afraid of different opinions necessarily, but be afraid of toxic ones. Be afraid of dangerous ones. Okay, I think that's what I got to say for today. Really need to grow this channel, so please tell a friend, for the love of God, help me grow this channel. If I could get more people here. I was one of the first Canadian YouTubers, certainly in the weather world, to be telling you that all this stuff was coming a long time ago, and we will spend lots of more time dissecting it all as best we can. Stay strong, Canadians. Stay strong, everybody. I got a lot of criticisms about our country, about our history, about the way things are, why things are the way they are. But at the end of the day, I still know I live on this side of that border down there. Maybe I've never really been a guy who waves the Canadian flag around, but I love my country to a degree that's indescribable. I love other people to a way that's indescribable. I'm that guy that will stop when you have an accident on the side of the road and try to save your life. I'm that guy who will go to a forest fire to try to put it out to make my community safer, to make my province safer. I'm all about that kind of stuff. So we're all in this together, everybody. Be strong, be kind to each other, get unified, get serious right fucking now. Okay, bye now.